Well, we're going to see about today. We're going to try again, the second try, to update this PC back here. 2013, I think, is the era, with an i7 4770 CPU, Windows 7. We tried it last week, and I had an idea afterwards. So stick around. We'll be right back with the show, and we will, yeah. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Do we have audio? Do we have video? I guess that's about it. Welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your day or your evening and dropping by. It's going to be interesting. It might be a tad boring. Nah. If you're watching, it's not boring. I mean, we are the narrowest of all niche or niche, depending on how you want to pronounce it, live streaming shows. Although we are the longest continuously running live streaming show about live streaming in the universe. Nobody has ever challenged that. This next month, July, we will be 13 years old. Can you believe that? 13 years old. Wow, it's amazing. Don't go back and look at the old show. Well, go back and look at the old shows. It'll make you appreciate the new shows so much better. So yeah. So let's see. What do we have here? Jasper is here. Welcome. Glad to hear you, or glad to see you, and glad to be heard and seen by you. Yes, indeedy. And it'll be fun today. I kind of like playing with some of this old technology because it's really familiar, you know, at least some parts of it are, or it should be, unless you've forgotten it all. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's what Windows 7 used to look like. Oh, I loved Windows 7. That was great. And then Windows 8 came along. Oh gosh. And then 8.1. Oh, it was even worse. Yeah. And then we say, you know, Windows 10. It's good, very stable. Windows 11. So far so good. We updated here in the studio to Windows 11, I guess about a month ago. Still haven't finished tweaking it so far as getting the start menu set up and all that kind of stuff. But everything seems to be working. Don't let the computer hear you. Don't let the computer hear you. Where's my mic? Oh yeah, there it is. So yeah. So, you know, we're about to enter the summer month doldrums where nothing really happens in the video world or the streaming world. I don't think. We'll see. It's unlikely vMix is going to release an update unless there's a big bug found. There has been a little kerfluffle. That's one of Tess's favorite words, I think. Congratulations to Tess, too. She got an offer from VizRT to go to work for them as a channel manager from PTC Optics Haverford. So good job, Tess. So yeah. So we'll see. We'll see about Windows 11. So far, so good. There was a little kerfluffle. Kerfluffle? Yeah. You can read about it in the vMix forum about people having problems with YouTube. Funny thing, we had the same thing last week where we added a Facebook stream and YouTube got its panties all in a wad and didn't like that and was having trouble staying connected. So we dropped the Facebook stream. That wasn't enough. YouTube just said, we're out of here. And so so the stream got cut. And the only way we had to restart the PC to get it back going again. And as long as we don't go to Facebook, YouTube's happy. How does YouTube know? I've thought about setting up a second PC here and doing a stream to Facebook from that. I could have been very easily done. And YouTube never would have known. Can we do that right now? I bet we could. We've got 5 minutes left before the show starts. Well, we'd have to log into Facebook and all that other stuff. Not worth and I wouldn't get to hang out with you guys. It wouldn't be worth the trouble. Wouldn't be worth the trouble, they say. So has anybody else had a problem streaming to YouTube and maybe something else at the same time, or maybe not? I was just reading through a post in the vMix forum. It's called How to Provide Backup Source for YouTube Live Stream. And it's a question, not a statement. And this person is from the UK, and they're asking, they said this is not really a vMix question per se, but there's a lot of expertise here and other people may do it. You know, how do you set up a backup stream? And one of the most prolific posters on the forum is someone whose his forum name is Doggy, G-O-G-D-Y. Doggy has over 5,000 posts. Holy cow, they've been busy. And they're in Belgium, if I didn't already say that. And they were discussing back and forth with this other person from the UK about that. But the person from the UK was also on another long thread about 5 or 6 months ago about this problem with YouTube. And that's, I think, where they're going right here, which is, you know, we need to have something that we can fall back on if YouTube is going to be unreliable. You know, the real answer is pay for something. You know, YouTube is free. You get what you get. You can't really, I don't think you can complain too much for something that's free. And if you don't like it, you can leave it. You can go somewhere else. At my church, the Grace Anglican Church here in Fairhope, Alabama, we stream only to Facebook and later on upload it to YouTube. There's only one need for a live stream, and Facebook, you know, reaches out to people and says, "Hey, they're live streaming." I know YouTube does that too, but I don't think they do it as quickly. In fact, sometimes I'll get a YouTube notification, you know, "Hey, we're live," 24 hours later after they're live. So I think Facebook would be the way to go, and then do a YouTube stream after the fact. Or excuse me, upload YouTube after the fact, because YouTube has great archive capability. Excuse me. And Facebook doesn't. In fact, Facebook has threatened to take down any video older than 30 days. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, we will see. We will see. I was working on something yesterday, working on a PC for a client, and was configuring a keyboard. And let me switch to a quick shot of this. And you notice that keyboard with the red stripe on it, that's a TYST, Trist, I guess, or Trist. Anyway, it's a Chinese brand that the client has sent to me to configure to work with vMix and Replay. And so that has been interesting to get that configured. Apparently it comes with its own config file. And yeah, in fact, I think we may review it on next week's show, just to kind of get it out there. Funny that I don't know if I can find it real quick. Let's see. Let's just try. Let's go here and go TYST 1500 HD. And see, yeah, 2 years ago, the vMix guys, Tim and Heath. Hold on a second. Pause that. And we'll just bring it in here real quickly. It'll be kind of fun. Be a good way to open up the show with a web browser. Yeah, we'll do YouTube. We'll bring it in here. We'll pause it. Let's see if we can't cue it up to the right kind of place. Yeah, there we go. And we'll bring it over there. Yeah, there. Add a little audio to it. And this is Heath talking about the keyboard.
And we've also got an interesting feature here of being able to send inputs to the program overlay, but also to...
So he kind of likes it, and he doesn't kind of like it, but it's kind of interesting. So we've got the same one here that we are evaluating, and it was interesting to see their evaluation of it too. The config file is really interesting because it configs all the buttons, but it doesn't configure them in a way that I would configure them. I mean, there are 3 rows of buttons. There's a preview row at the bottom, a program row above that, and then an overlay row above that, or I guess a DSK row above that. And there are 12 buttons, and then there's a shift key at the end, so you really have 24. And the configuration file is all configured to use the shift key and give you access to the other 12. But it's based on inputs 1 through 12 and then 13 through 24. So you can't use button number 1 for DSK 1, because that's probably going to be a camera. So it's going to take some getting used to, but I think it has some potential. And I think in a studio where you're using it, frequently, you're going to customize it to make it the way you want. The client that I'm working with, people will be using this probably once a week for 3 or 4 months out of the year. So we'll see. We want to keep it as simple as possible. Anyway, so we've gone over showtime. My apologies. But let's get back. Let's get back to the pre-show screen. And then we will go to the, where are we going to go? We're going to go to the intro. Yeah, sit tight. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Love that intro. Martin Kay did that for me probably, what, 5 or 6 years ago? And yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it. So welcome. Glad to have you here. We took a little jaunt off to the side. I don't know if you noticed in that little vMix montage, it was not labeled vMix. It was labeled vGix. vGix? Is that the best way to pronounce it? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, here's just a desktop capture of it, so it won't make it go again. And let me get this in the screen a little bit better. There we go. So you can see right down there in the bottom right-hand corner, it's got sort of a vMix logo, but not really. And yeah, how about that? Isn't that funny? I think that's funny. Okay, so today, we are looking at an old PC that was abused, not by me, but in its previous life. It was owned and probably rented by a company that does like the shows at Las Vegas, you know, that sets up all the walls and the signage and the furniture and all that stuff, and probably also supplied these PCs either to their own personnel or as rent to their clients. And so it was a portable system, kind of like the vMix Go. In fact, it was built by the same people that built the vMix Go, Acme Portable out in California. And it's a bulletproof chassis. And let's see, can we zoom in on that? Let's see if we can get a shot of the chassis here. Let's go there. And then one thing I love just about the PTZ cams is that we can, I've got my speed kind of low, but there in the left-hand corner, I've stripped off the case, so we're just basically down to the chassis. But it's a dedicated, not a dedicated, but a crafted, they say aluminum grade, aircraft grade aluminum, and that is the system. And so I've got an HDMI cable, that's the blue one, plugged into it right now, so that we can go back and see the screen a little bit better, a little larger screen. And yeah, we can see what we're going to do there. So let's get it back into the middle. Oops, got to slow down my speeds a little bit. Sorry about that. There we go. And we will zoom in. And I don't want to I could do a vMix desktop capture here, but I'm a little reluctant to do that because the PC is going to be restarting and will be moving kind of out of its operating system. So yeah, that ought to do it right there. If the camera will stop trying to focus, let's go out just a little bit further. There we go. Sort of, not really. Okay. Little wavy on its focusing. Let's see if we can we stop it and control the focus ourselves? Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're set. Now we're set. All right, so I'm going to roll back there. And what we have here is Windows 7. Good old Windows 7. Woohoo! Is that a blast from the past? Yes, indeedy. Now I've got the screen blown up so that you can see it. It'll do a 1920 by 1080, and it looks really nice. But in this case, we want to install Windows 11 on it. Now I'll tell you, I tried. Where are you? There you are. I tried to install this from the thumb drive, and that would be a brand new installation. And that bombed. And after the show last week, I tried again, and this is what I did. And so this is my thumb drive with my Windows on it. So I'm just going to run setup. And now it's as if I had booted to this drive. Well, not really, because I'm not really running on Windows 11 at this point. I'm still running on Windows 7. But yeah, so we're still on Windows 7. We still got all the icons at the bottom. And we're just going to dive in. Now we're plugged into a network, so if it's getting some updates, it's going to get them. We don't have a product key, but and I don't know if there was a product key previously installed, but there was Windows 7 installed, and it was never activated, probably because the company that had them didn't want to spend the money to activate it. Anyway, so we're going to just click that. We're going to pick 11 Pro. Only choices we have here, obviously, are going to be 11s. This one right here is Windows 7 Pro, or Professional is what they called it back then. So we'll do the same thing here. Let's see what our error code is here. You may be a victim of software counterfeiting. Well, probably were. All right, software license, we're going to accept. We're going to keep personal files. Your settings and apps will be deleted, but your files will be kept. So this is the closest thing we can get to a nice, easy update. Or we could do nothing, everyone will be deleted, but let's just keep the personal files and see. Now, the drive that this is working on, yes. Make sure you're ready to install. Oh, making sure you're ready to install. The drive that this is installing on is a Western Digital 500 gigabyte. And actually, you can see this is the one that I successfully updated last week. I've got a bunch of these, so I just popped a new one in there. And I was able to get it to go. So let's do it again. I'll show you how. It's just slow as molasses because it's a drive. And it says, what needs your attention? This PC doesn't meet the minimum requirements for running Windows 11. Blah, 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 blah. Damages to your PC due to lack of compatibility aren't covered under the manufacturer warranty. Your PC will no longer be supported, and you won't be entitled to receive updates. Well, that's a big threat, you know. We're going to accept that because really we don't care. All right, Windows 11 Pro, keep personal files. We're going to go with that. And what I found in doing this last week, let me go back to this shot for just a second. What I found in doing this last week was that once I updated this system to Windows 11 on that hard drive, I was immediately able to go and make an update. I mean, yeah, I was able to go and do a Windows update. I don't know if you can hear the noise on the roof. That's a big rainstorm that's passing through. Love to have the big rainstorms. So we'll see. I haven't tried an extra update after the initial update. I've got the drive here, and so I could do that. What are we on? 8%, 9% complete. So let's see. These are two different cameras. So if we do a merge, it just as a fade. Yeah, there we go. So that's 11% complete. So we're going by. Now, this little system over here is a really cool little system. Let's get that stuff out of the way for a second. It was probably built in 2013, 2014. The last time it was updated was 2015. So that's 10 years ago. But it's got the 500 gig hard drive, which for some reason is the main drive, and then it's got maybe 125 gig solid state drive, you know, the little credit card size ones. And that's the secondary drive. I would have made that as the primary drive, so it would be faster, but nevertheless. And it's an i7-47 W1170, which I think is like 3.7 gigahertz, and two 4 gig sticks of 1600 megahertz RAM. Is that the right way to describe it? Anyway, so it's pretty slow RAM, not nearly as fast as the processor. Let's see how we're doing here. Up to 24%. Okay, that's good. So it also came with a DVD drive built right into the side of the case, and some teeny little speakers, and also included a Magewell capture card. And this was the kind of the Magewell equivalent 10 years ago or 12 years ago, whenever it was first installed. It was the equivalent of the Blackmagic Intensity. You remember the Blackmagic Intensity card? It had a dongle that came with it and allowed you to do, I think, HDMI, SD, S-video, and component. And so it had all these cables hanging off the side of it. And this is the same kind of thing. This one has a dongle that goes with it, and apparently the folks at Magewell will send you the dongle for free. At least they would a year or two ago when I first asked them. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of video we can get out of that. So we might play around with that some in the future. The video card, I didn't mention this. The video card is, we can't get access to it now, but I think it is based on the NVIDIA. It wouldn't be the RTX. What would that be? Anyway, a 730. So it's not the 750 graphics card that was the minimum standard for vMix back when the 700 series was all the rage. But this was even lower than that, and it still works. You know, obviously it's not going to work super fast, and this was not designed as a streaming PC, although this PC had a lot of video on it that was apparently recorded on it, I'm guessing, because it was on the secondary drive. So it probably wasn't, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I took a look at it. It was some PowerPoint presentations about bone loss in dentistry or something like that. So, you know, who knows? So let's see. How are we doing? How are we doing here now? Up to 72%. So we're just zooming along. Can't beat that. The screen here is I guess it's a 17-inch monitor, and the system, when it's all put together with all of its armor on it, has a fold-down keyboard. So the keyboard folds up to protect the screen, and the keyboard also has a little touchpad, I guess. Yeah, it's a touchpad that you would use for your mouse. So very primitive. I mean, the keyboard, for those of you that like the old clackety-clack keyboards, you'll love this one. This one will be great. But it's, oh, here we go. We got something going on here. Your PC will restart in a few moments. Okay, that's a good look. That's a good look. Welcome, Ed. Welcome, Ron. Welcome, Dave. Dave wants me to read his comment, but I'm not going to. Oh, welcome, Greg. vGix, that's right. That is that like SETA give? I couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Apparently Ed had a message retracted and Dave had a message retracted. My apologies on that. Not sure why that was the case, but that's the way it ended up. Let's see. How are we doing here? PC will restart. So this is looking good. This is looking good. I'm not going to complain. We will go back here for just a sec. We'll kind of keep an eye on that over our shoulder. Dave thinks that there is a program being streamed from another planet with a longer track record. Oh, here we go. Let's see. What have we got? What do we got here? Let's bring it in close. Windows 11 installation has failed. Oh my gosh. Close. Well, it worked the other day. Oh, well, let's try it again. We'll say don't keep anything. We'll say just do a fresh install. I really would like to install it on the on that SSD. I guess I could do that as a new install, take this drive just out, so the only option it had, because here we're just going to install it over the current Windows 7. But we won't keep anything this time. Let's see what we can do. Previously installed, Pro, next, checking the PC, license, choosing what to keep nothing, next. At some point it's going to give me that nasty warning that says we can't be responsible for anything ever again, ever. That's a victim of counterfeiting flash. Don't really care about that, you know. We're going to accept that. Just says you may be a victim of software counterfeiting. All right, we're going to install. Here we go again. So we're at 0. That didn't take too long before, so I'm kind of hopeful that it won't take too long this time. What's the advantage of this? Well, that's a good question. The advantage, I think, Ed said, my message was retracted due to one of my fingers can't spell right. Well, my sympathies, Ed. I share the same thing. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to see how old of a PC you can successfully run Windows 11 on, despite the fact that it doesn't have TPMS, no, TPM, yeah, TPMS, 2.0, or any of the other requirements for Windows 11. But I think it will work. Ed says I've inspired him to give one of his laptops an update. The question is, of all the folks I've built computers for going back to 2016, can they safely update to or install Windows 11 on that PC, install vMix and all the other ancillary stuff that you want to have to go with it, and make it work? So we'll kind of use this as our ultimate test bed. We're up to 15% complete there. And see, what limitations do we have? Obviously, the speed of the processor is a limitation. I mean, it's an i7. What was the i7? Was it a quad-core processor? i7 4770. Quad-core, yep. So that would be quad-core, 8 threads, could run vMix. I mean, of course it can run vMix, but can it run vMix on Windows 11 is the question. I've got an i7 2600X quad-core, 8-thread CPU running at my church right now, running Windows 10 and vMix 28, and streaming with no problem. I mean, we're doing 1080p 60 at the church. Not that we need to, but we do, running NDI from a single PTZ camera, and it's running great. No complaints. All right, we're up to 72% back here, so we're zipping along at about the same pace we were before. But again, the question is, what can you do with this? What can we use that Magewell capture card that's in there? I'll have to contact Magewell and get a dongle for that. Can we use that capture card? Can we use that graphics card, or would we benefit by updating? Now it's a full height chassis. I mean, it'll take a full height PCIe card, but if this is the card right here, there's limited room on the top of the card to plug in something. So it would have to be a low power card like the RTX 3050, which actually vMix currently recommends in one of their low end reference systems. All right, we're up to 95% here. Let's see how we do. And if this doesn't work, we may just pull the plug on this drive and see if we can install Windows on the solid state drive, which is what I want to do anyway. I was just curious if we could update this hard drive. I mean, it's a Western Digital black. So, whoops, something happened. Where are we? What's going on? Let's see. Shutting down. That's something. Shutting down's I guess that's a good sign. I think it's a good sign. All right, now we're booting back. So at least we're up to the splash screen for the motherboard. And loading files. This is going to work. I guess it was the fact that we wanted to keep stuff last time. Yeah, there we go, Windows 11. Bingo bango. How about that? And so one of the first, all right, installing 0%. Please keep your computer on. Your computer may restart a few times. Okay. Well, now we're in business. Now we are in business. It'll be interesting. I've got, let me knock that out of the way here a second. I've got, what do I have? I have this PC connected to an old switch. I thought it would feel comfortable connected to an old switch that I think is a 100 meg switch, not a gigabit switch. And so if we do an update, we may want to, well, we'll do it at that speed. It'll be used to that speed. That'll be good. So we got installing 0%. So, by the way, if the rainstorm knocks out the power, we're really in trouble because I don't have that system. Do I? No, it's not on any power backup. I've got this system on power backup, and I've got the modem and the switch on power backup, so we won't go away immediately, but we will go away eventually. All right, 2%. How about that? Can't beat that. We're just cruising along. All right, let's go back and let's see what you guys are saying. Ed says this is a good-looking case. Yes, I like the case. It's a little on the heavy side, but it's doggone bulletproof. You ought to see some of the cladding that I took off the outside, the dents that were in it, the scratches and the scrapes, and these machines are still working. Dave says, I guess the show is delayed for a half hour. No, I don't think so. That may be the comment that was retracted. I think there's a program being streamed from another planet with a longer track record. It's a planet that refers to a piece of human anatomy, so we're not going to go there. And Gunner's here. Welcome. Dave says, I can help you test your Facebook YouTube theory using our CDM as a test since we can simulcast. Yeah, the problem appears to happen with OBS and Facebook, OBS and YouTube, OBS and vMix. I haven't heard about Wirecast or anybody else having the same issue. So we'll see. We're up to 7%, so we're really screaming along. Although, as I recall, when I did this last week after the show and didn't record any of it, this part got up to about 40% and then just boom, went all the way up to 100% really, really quickly. So we'll see there. So if you're just joining us, wondering what the heck is going on back here, this is a 2013 era portable PC built by Acme Portables out in California with an i7-4770 CPU, a NVIDIA GTX, that's it, GTX 720 graphics card, 4 gigs of really slow as molasses RAM, an old Magewell capture card. I think it was the similar to the Blackmagic Intensity Pro, because it requires a dongle, which I don't have, so we'll have to check. Up to 11% now. And yeah, we'll see if we can make a streaming PC out of this. I know Ken Benedict purchased one of these cases when we first got them and gutted it and built it up with new power supply, new motherboard, graphics card, capture card, all that stuff. But the beauty of it is that the case is just amazingly put together. In fact, let me put one in front of the camera so you can see. I'm just going to grab it, an extra one here, and I'm just going to bring it over here so that you can see. It just is amazing construction, amazing engineering. Everything has got its space. It does require a one of those long, thin power supplies. I don't know if you can see that right back up here near me. There's the DVD drive, motherboard, of course, in the center, and then monitor with all the monitor buttons you would expect in terms of brightness and moving the picture around, that kind of thing, and 2 little speakers here on the front. The RJ45 here is actually to plug in a keyboard, not to plug in internet. And then everything, a cladding system gets built around this. The only thing that's still exposed are these ends. So you've got obviously power fans and all your connections. And then the monitor side. So let's put this back out of the way. There we go. And so a graphics card like the 3050 would be kind of ideal because it doesn't require power. It's low profile, but it doesn't need to be. But it's going to give you what? 2 HDMI's and 2 display ports. So that's all you could ask for, I think. Up to 18% now, so we can call this a success. I'm going to call it a success, and then we'll have to see how far we can make this success go. So we're going to wind up this part of the show. We're going to go to the post show, and we'll be right back. All right. So we're in the post show. You know how I know it? It says it right there. And we're up to 20%. So we'll see how long this goes, and we'll see how curious you guys are as to what's going to actually happen here. Dave, I do appreciate your offer. Let's see. When can we do that? Maybe Friday? Maybe Friday? I'll get a hold of you. I'll get a hold of you. I'm taking part in that PTZ Optics Worship Summit tomorrow. That's going on right now, and it'll go on again tomorrow. I think I'm on at 12:30, and it'll be a Zoom thing, so you can get on and ask me questions. I think the question part, if they're doing it the same way they did it before, the question part is actually after the presentation in a Zoom room. So, but yeah, And that should be information available at PTZ Optics about the Worship Summit. We're just basically going to talk about using vMix in a worship environment. That's what I like to do. Yes, indeedy. So let's see. Let's catch up here. Well, Ed, I'm glad. And there's a troublemaker from Tuskegee University Athletics. Eric Tabor. Welcome, Eric. Eric, since you just joined us, in the background right back here is a Windows 7 PC that we tried to update last week. And actually, I was able to update it after the show. So we're updating it again. I put a different drive in it so that we could update it. And we could see, we'll see how long it's going. It's up to 29%. Whoops, something happened. Oh, it's probably going to restart. And then it'll go up to 30%. Yeah, so we'll see. So this show today is being brought to you by Eastern Shore Broadcasting, my company, where we've got a nice project on the boards today, and that is a vMix. Which one of the vMix is this? This is a vMix. I believe it's a Topaz, or is it a Ruby? Let's see. Hold on a second here. Yeah, this is a Ruby. So this is the old i7, the new Core Ultra 7 265KF CPU with an Asus ProArt 890 Z890 Creator Wi-Fi motherboard and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 Ti graphics card. And it includes a Blackmagic Decklink Duo 4-port SDI card and a Blackmagic Mini monitor as an output, and a 350 gigabyte main drive and terabyte replay drive. The desktop, the controller you see there is one that the client sent us. It's a TYST 1500 HD. Anyway, they're only available from China. So they wanted to use that. So I said, send it to me and we'll configure it. So we're configuring it. In fact, we'll still have it around next week. So I'll probably do a review on it in case anybody's interested in it. It's got some pretty cool things going for it. Let's see how we're doing back here. We're up to 30%, just like I predicted. Yeah. Whoop. Now, oh boy, it's jumping along. 54%. Woohoo. In fact, let's see if we can do a little zoom in here. Oh yeah, now we're talking. So yeah, 54%. Keep your computer on. Well, we will. We will. Eric is such a flirt. All right, Greg's still around. The TYST. How do you pronounce that, Greg? Tist? 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 A great surface and doesn't break the bank. I think the buttons are a little flaky. I've had several times where I've pushed a button and it's gotten trapped in the down position, but I wasn't. That's how you pronounce it. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Greg was the one that so graciously helped us at NAB in 2024 do the roaming Streaming Idiot show from the floor of NAB. And Greg did a lot of the video, and I appreciate that a whole lot, still do. And in fact, this is the audio that we used back then. I continue to use it because it's so easy to use. Let's see, how are we doing on the PC here? We are up to 60%. All right, so we're cruising now. Well, I mean, I say we're cruising, but we don't know. But the keyboard, it's an interesting little keyboard. One of the interesting things about it, or the most interesting thing about it, I think, well, two things. It was conceived as a vMix specific keyboard, and that's notable. The keys on it are keys that I don't think you would be, well, I guess you would be using with other stuff. I guess everybody has transitions and has, you know, DSK, preview and program, and record buttons, and it's got a joystick for PTZs, but with all the hardware part of it, it also comes with a configuration file that includes vMix shortcuts and activators. So you've got the ability to, once you install that, the keyboard is pre-configured. You know, buttons will do things. The only limitation is, you know, the buttons are assigned to inputs by input number. So if you want to change anything, you've got to change that. But you know, so you've got your rows of program and preview, 12 buttons program, 12 buttons preview, and 12 buttons DSK. But those are all assigned to input 1 through 12. So there we go. But it's fun. It's fun. How are we doing here? Still up to 60. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there, so they say. Maybe if I look at it this way, it'll make it go faster. It's not working. It's not working. So, Greg, have you used the TIST? There's also a TIST replay controller, which I'm supposed to be receiving it's being sent from China, so who knows when it'll really get here. And then if it'll get here with an additional bill for tariffs or fees or lodging or whatever it is. But the interesting thing is that this particular controller, the keyboard controller, or I guess what they would call the switcher has the configuration file for it also includes a number, like maybe 50 shortcuts for vMix replay. And Greg is giving them a solid endorsement. The 4ME panel is really big, really cool looking. And the REW 580 has been replaced with the REW 680 now, I believe. And they're fairly reasonably priced. They're in the league. They're more in the league with X keys than they are with you know, JL Cooper or another brand you might think of. The 4ME panel looks really cool. Let's see if we can bring up a picture of that real quick. Trying to find a copy of a picture that's in a decent resolution. These are all such low resolutions. Well, let's try that. And let's see if we can import that into vMix so that you can see it. One sec. Desktop. Yeah, there we go. So that's what it looks like. Pay no attention to the spelling errors. But it's got lots of buttons. And a T-bar. And a couple sliders for audio. And a joystick. Yeah. Pretty neat. Pretty neat, methinks. Oh, something's happening back there over my shoulder. Let's see what it is. It says just a moment. Just a moment. Does that mean just a moment and joy? Or just a moment and it bombs out like last time? Although last time it was in Windows 7 that it gave us the error message that it couldn't install Windows 11. In this case, we are already on Windows 11. So if it bombs out, Windows 7 is toast. It's gone. It's never to be seen again unless I pull some more drives out of some of these portable systems. I think I've got 6 or 7 of them. And they just, somebody said, I want a portable system, and we pull it out and replace all the guts. And in some cases, we've actually sent the cladding out to, yeah, that's right. We sent the cladding out to have it powder coated. And so we get it, bang out a lot of the dents so it doesn't look quite so dented, and get it powder coated, and it looks really good. The scroll wheel is the only gripe with the RAW580, but the 680 looks to have fixed that yet. What's the gripe with the scroll wheel? Just in case you were wondering. Let's see if we can do a picture in a picture. Let's come here. Let's come here. Nope. I think it's that one right there. Hold on a second. We'll get this figured out. Let's reset all of those. There we go. And then we can bring that down. Let's crop it. And then we can make it bigger again. And crop it some more. So that's what that's saying. There we go. So the scroll wheel is just a little flimsy, Greg says. If you lean on it too hard, it tilts. Oh my gosh. Scroll's okay, so he gave it a pass. Dave says, oh, Dave's thrown down the gauntlet. I've updated more than a half a dozen systems, and I think only one met the minimum requirements, from towers to gaming laptops to business laptops. And the oldest was, drum roll, a 3770. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, did you update those like we updated these, or did you just have to reinstall Windows 11 right on top of whatever was there before? Were those all pure updates? Because that's what this is. This is an update. I mean, well, it's not really an update. It's a brand new install because we're not keeping files or folders or anything. Although I think there'll be a subdirectory on the C drive called Windows Old that will have some of the old Windows files in it. We'll see. Well, Microsoft's idea of a moment is longer than my idea of a moment. This moment has been several moments. We will see. We will see. Why is that all askew right there? I guess the monitor itself is askew. Can we fix that? There we go. All right. All right, just now you're in the loop, as they say, the loop. We need that that song. What is it? There was a theme song from the game show Jeopardy, I think. Let's see if we can bring that in. Oh, we have success on the back row again. Let's see if we can unzoom this. So now we can go back to work. All right. Right country, United States. Keyboard, yes. Second keyboard, skip. I'm going to disconnect the internet here because I don't want to have to use a Microsoft account. And it will want to use a Microsoft account. But we can bypass that. Oops, looks lost. Let's go back and connect to your network again. Retry. Okay. Okay, can't find it. We'll wait for it to say something here. It's looking for Wi-Fi. I think this machine also has Wi-Fi, doesn't it? No, guess not. All right, not connected. Install driver, having trouble getting connected. Let's go Shift F10. That's going to put us in into MS-DOS, and we're going to say start space MS-CXH colon local only. Let's see if this works. Just a moment. Yeah, there we go. Username. Okay, this is going to be a test. W7 to W11. Let's spell test right. We really don't care because we're not keeping it, but we're there. Just a moment. We're getting close. We're getting close. And the screen goes black. Hi. Getting things ready for you. This looks familiar. Dun 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 dun. This might take a few minutes. Well, it really might. Because whenever you say it might take a few minutes, you mean it. Actually, when you said it's just a moment, it was longer than a moment. So a few minutes may be longer than a few minutes. But it's got some cool graphics to look at, which probably have nothing to do with the duration. It just plays until it stops playing. Nope, almost there. You really don't need me to read it, but I got to do something. Okay, privacy settings. We really don't care, but the way I would set it up would be to turn everything off so that we're as low profile as possible. And boom, there we are. All right, let's plug in some Ethernet. Boy, that was weird. All right, plugging in Ethernet. Let's see if we get a, we don't have a taskbar down there. Maybe that's coming. Don't have a right-click menu yet. Maybe that's coming. Things may be a little slow because it's an older system and a slow, there we go. All right, so let's go to start, which is not working yet. There we go. Start, that's not the getting started I wanted. I want this start. There we go. Settings. Come on, settings. You can do it. Here we go. Settings. Settings. Unpin from taskbar. Okay, that's working. Well, we may have loaded up things too much. Our 8 gigabytes of RAM. Try again. Settings. Nope. Not yet. Nope, nothing's working. I don't think we're frozen. I think we're just lagging. Lagging back in time. Because, yeah, the menu works. Let's go back and try again. All right, something's happening there. There we go. Up the menu, up to settings. Now we're working. And come on, settings. You can do it. Come on, settings. There we go. Windows Update. Windows Update. You're up to date, which of course is never true. Check for updates. Checking for updates. Let's see how many updates we get. Remember, it told us we couldn't update. That it was going to fry our PC and void the manufacturer's warranty. But I don't think that's true. So we'll just have to see. Ah, you're looking at the clock on that PC. Yeah, that's, who knows what time that's set for. Don't know. That's a good point. I'll have to check. There are a couple different options for that. Yeah, this is basically if you want to bypass logging into a Microsoft Windows account, Microsoft account. In this case, it won't because there is not a license key. It was a pirated copy of Windows that was already on there, so it's not gonna. I don't think it'll bring anything forward. How are we doing our updates here? Oh, we've got some. How about that? Said they wouldn't do it. Let's go back and see what we got. We got security intelligence update. Oh, that's Windows Defender. We've got an update for Windows Security Platform. We've got a malicious software removal tool. We've got a cumulative update to version 24H2. We've got a cumulative update to Net Framework. We've got an Intel system and an NVIDIA display. And they are all downloading at the screaming pace, or not, as the case may be. Let's see. Let's just go full screen here. That'll do. All right, so we'll let that go. We'll let that go. Anyway, let me show you what the screen looks like. Sorry, I thought we were already on it. There we go. So, yeah, so we're getting updates. And that was the thing that we couldn't do, or that they said we couldn't do. It was going to blow up our PC, void the manufacturer's warranty, and we wouldn't be able to get updates. Well, there is no manufacturer warranty on this, and it's not blown up yet. And it looks like we're going to get updates. So I'll continue to monitor this. In a few days, maybe I'll try for updates again and see if it'll give them to us again. Really interesting, a couple of days ago, I think maybe Monday, on the Windows 7, a different drive, the third drive, that had Windows 7 on it, popped it in this machine and tried to do Windows 7 update, and it said, sure, fine, here are the updates that you need. And there were about 8 or 9 of them. And it started doing it, and then, no, there were 10 of them, I remember, because it said 2 of them couldn't be installed. And then when it went to reboot the PC, that was it. Windows was gone. Wouldn't even boot into BIOS at that point. I had to remove the drive to get it. So it fried its little brain. This may do the same thing. I mean, in this case, we don't care because this is just test stuff. It's old junky junk. All right, and Eric is leaving us with a piece of wisdom and says, don't forget to run WinHance, Tom. Well, I probably will forget to run WinHance because I'm going to throw this drive away and install Windows 11 on the solid state drive back there. That's already part of the machine. I mean, it's a 12-year-old solid state drive too. So oh, you know what? We can look at the age of the drive to tell us when it was manufactured. It should have a date right on it. Made in Malaysia. It's got a serial number. I thought they used to have dates on them. WD Black. Here we go. May 15th, 2014. There we go. That's that one anyway. We don't know about this one. 2014, so 11 years old. That's not bad. That's not bad. Still hanging in there. Still hanging in there. Well, guys, I will update you on this process, and we'll probably take a look at this keyboard next week and see what it looks like, unless something else really interesting happens between now and then. But I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time. Toodles.